So this is a bed that I made a few months ago when we created this new outdoor area. But I planted a few leftover seedlings in there, didn't really do much. So these little cabbage were a bit late in the season and they didn't really grow properly. So I'm just removing them. I also planted some onion seedlings that I had left over and they're still going. So I'm just going to actually replant them back in this bed once I've cleaned it out and re-prepped it. So I did dig out a channel around the bed to try to keep the grass out of it and the weeds out of it. So I'm just emptying this and pulling out any grass that's grown into the channel. And I'll have to do this every few months to keep the horrible buffalo grass out of this garden bed. But it's looking pretty good. I'm just going to put some organic fertilizer on here. So these are pellets that I buy from a local fertilizer place. And now I'm putting homemade compost on top. We keep these old soil bags to just fill up our compost into, and that just makes it easy to transport it around and use it in the garden because my husband does the composting and he takes care of all of that for me. So he fills up these bags and puts them in the potting shed so that whenever I need to add compost, I can just go grab a bag of it and pop it on a garden bed like I'm doing right now. So I'm going to spread the compost out. I've got the fertilizer, I've got the compost spread out. The soil underneath this is clay mostly. I did actually spread some gypsum as well. Oh look, a very big worm, which is great. That was in the compost. So hopefully the gypsum underneath might help the clay break up a little bit as well, but we'll see how it goes. Now I've got to wet it all down before I mulch it to make sure that it's nice and moist underneath the mulch before I put it down. I love this wand. It's the best thing ever on my hose. So I have this sugarcane mulch that we got in big bales from a local farmer. So you can see it's quite coarse, but I like that because it doesn't become as hydrophobic as the smaller stuff. And when you're doing a new bed like this, it's fine to have the coarser stuff because you're not trying to put it around tiny little seedlings. Finally, I'm going to cover it back up again because I've run out of time to do anything else with this bed today and it's all prepped. And so we're done. We've got this new bed ready to go, ready to plant out in, and I have a bunch of seedlings that I'm planning on planting out in this bed possibly tomorrow. Normally I would water this in, but we are currently having quite a bit of rain and have more predicted, so I'm just going to let the rain do the job of watering this bed in, watering the mulch in. I did obviously give it a water underneath, but it's all nice and ready to go, fertilized and with a layer of compost on top. So it is now 2 days later after I have prepared the bed. I ran out of daylight and then it rained for an entire day, which in spring is very unusual, but it's great because it's our dry season, so, and we're on tank water, so the more rain the better at this time of year really, as much as I enjoy the lovely blue sky days. So I have now put together all of the seedlings that I'm going to plant into this bed, and I'm going to talk you through what I'm putting in there and why before we get it done. Okay, so I have all of my seedlings here, and the first thing that we're going to put in are some baby asparagus. So these are Argentile, I think the name of them is. Let's have a look. Yeah, Argentile. I'll put it on screen because my handwriting is atrocious and I can't spell it. But I bought these as seeds, and I have my kind of main asparagus bed in the bamboo house garden, but I wanted to try this variety as something different because it's not something I can get as a crown here in Australia, but I could get the seeds. So I've grown the babies, and I figured this is a good spot for them because it's right near the house, and it's a little bit of a raised bed. It's kind of, because I've got the cutout around it, I'm hoping that in the wet season that'll act as a bit of a water diverting channel as well as a bit of a swale, so that this won't get super waterlogged, because if it does, the asparagus probably won't survive. So this is a bit of an experiment. I'm not sure. I'm not going to put all of my genteel in here because I don't know if it will like this spot, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to put some of those in, and then I also have, I'm squishing things. Where is it? So then, as my main annual crop in this bed, I have some okra, because we are coming into summer now, and apparently it's a good crop to grow over the summer. I also have this fennel, which really needs to be planted out. I may put a bit of this in at the ends, but I don't kind of want to put it in the middle because apparently this kind of impedes the growth of stuff around it. So I'm a bit iffy as to whether I'm going to put it in here. I'll see how everything fits first, but definitely the okra is going to go along in here. I also have some leeks. Now I've actually got some onions in here that were already in this bed, kind of languishing, but they looked healthy enough, so I've just put them back in. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to put these leeks along the back end of the rest of the bed. Now that is kind of the northern direction, so the sun kind of comes this way when it's lower in the sky, because I'm in the southern hemisphere, so north facing is the way you want to be to get the sun in winter. So anything that's smaller, I kind of am putting on that back side there. I do also have some Malabar spinach, but I don't think I'll put it in here because it has a tendency to take over everything, and I've got other stuff I want to grow in here, so I'll probably put this somewhere else. But yeah, the leeks can go in here, and I've got some lovely grass which I'm not planting. This stuff is just the devil's plant, honestly, just so impossible to fight. But I do have some purple ruffled basil and some lime basil that have kind of been languishing in this for a while, as you can see. So I might put a bit in this bed as well, maybe one or two of those in this bed, because I kind of didn't have space for them in the bamboo house, so I haven't put them anywhere as to this point. Now the next thing is some bee balm or bergamot. I've not grown this before. To be honest, I haven't grown most of this before. This is my first kind of proper year of vegetable gardening, food gardening. So it's all a very big experiment at this point, which is why I'm kind of doing this channel, to kind of keep track of how it all goes. But I've got a bunch of these seedlings. These are a herb, and apparently the bees love the flowers, and it is apparently edible. I don't quite know. Yeah, this is like lemon bergamot, so it's kind of lemony. It smells a little thymy, a little oregano-y, sort of that sort of herb, so I'm interested to see how that goes. I also have some more flower seedlings. These are very small. I don't think I want to put them in yet because they've barely got their first lot of leaves. These are Cosmos Cupcakes Blush, and these are a Dahlia Rigoletto mix, so growing dahlia from seed. Again, never done that before. Never grown dahlias before. Never grown most of this. So I'm going to leave these and just fertilize them and let them grow a little bit bigger in the pots before I plant them, but I am planning on putting some in this bed for some summer colour. Something I am going to put in though is some violas. These are the King Henry, so they're like a purple viola. They're really pretty. I'm going to plant a bunch of them in kind of the rock crevicey bits of the bed because they just sort of spill out in that little space. So that's the plan for those. And so there will be some space left in this bed because I do want to put in some more flowers. And I also have some Egyptian spinach that needs to go somewhere, but I feel like I've probably got enough going on to put in here. I am definitely, my approach is definitely that sort of cottage garden approach where I'm planting everything together. You know, I don't do rows of anything. I don't do like big whole beds of one thing. I'm very much trying the sort of approach where I mix everything together, flowers, herbs, vegetables, for the biodiversity and to help, you know, manage insects and pests and things like that. That is the approach I'm experimenting with. So that's sort of what I'm going for out here as well. Okay, let's get these planted. I have my trusty hori knife. This thing was like the best investment in garden tool ever. I use it all the time because it has like the serrate. I just spilled soil over myself. Excuse me for a moment. As I was saying, it's great because it's got the serrated edge here that you can use to cut through stems and things. It's got a sharp edge here, and I dig with it all the time. Like it's like a trowel, and it has the measuring on here, which is really handy as well. So if you don't have one of these, highly recommended. So as you can see here with the more established seedlings, it's really easy to make space in the mulch and then just plant straight into the garden bed. And that's the approach I'm taking with this one, so that I don't have to try to put this mulch around the tiny seedlings. It's much easier to just make a space in it and then pop the mulch back around the plant. Now it's time to watering the seedlings, so I'm going to use some of my own worm juice from our worm farm and pop that in. I'm also going to add some weed tea fertilizer made from weeds around the property and dilute it down till it looks like weak tea. Just a little interlude while Alice comes and visits me while I'm doing some gardening. We keep her on a leash when she walks because she doesn't like to come back when you call her. But she does love being outside, so we try to give her a walk every day. I also take her with me into the bamboo house quite often when I'm working in there. It's like a big cage for her.
So there we have it. The bed is somewhat planted out now. As I said, I'm going to come back in and plant some more flowers once they've established a little bit more, pop them in some of the gaps. I've, like anything, I've looked at how big these plants get, but who knows really? Time will tell. We'll see what survives through into summer and beyond out of this lot and out of what I plant in there afterwards. You may have noticed the chicken wire that I've put over the top. Now, the mulch on these beds is sugarcane mulch, so raw, like bales of sugarcane mulch that we got off a farmer on Facebook. We got like 25 bales for $200 or something like that, and while it's not nice and fine, that's actually a good thing, because I find that the fine stuff tends to become hydrophobic because it sticks to itself, whereas this stuff, it's so coarse that doesn't seem to happen quite as much, which is great. It is a little bit cumbersome to work with when it comes to doing seedlings, but as you noticed, I put the mulch down, then I made pockets in the mulch and planted the seedlings rather than putting the seedlings in and then trying to put the mulch on top of them, which would have been way too hard. So that is why I've done that. And there's the chicken wire over the top of the entire thing to protect it from mostly the brush turkeys, but also from any possums or any other little critter that might want to come along and nibble on those. And there's a plane, it's really loud, and a bird. Oh, hello. Are you gonna squawk? No, you're just gonna jump around. Waiting for the plane to go away. And here comes another one. Oh my god. Anyway, I think you can hear me well enough. Let's hope so. So, chicken wire. Thumbs up. Very easy. You can see I have some bits of bamboo on some of the edges to kind of help it hold its shape a little bit more. And what I generally do is I use this at the beginning, and then when the plants are established enough that they cover most of the mulch, then I take it off. And I may have to upgrade to a fence, more of a scenario, because the plants will grow and they'll start poking up through the chicken wire. I'll just play it by ear. We'll see what happens. As long as that they're protected in some way, shape or form. It is a constant battle here with the delightful native animals, which I do love, but I wish they wouldn't eat and destroy my gardens. That would be really nice, but we all have those lovely native animals wherever we live that we have to battle with, and it's just up to us to come up with good, strong, smart solutions that don't hurt them and that mean we get our food. So thank you for watching. I will do an update video in the future in summer, hopefully midsummer maybe, December-ish, to see what this bed has done and how it has developed over that time. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that video. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments below if you have any questions or comments about my garden. And if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up / like, whatever it's called these days. That would be awesome. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.